The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Round 4 of the Spring Classic here in St. Louis. Grandmaster Jeffrey Zhang cornered Grandmaster Surya Ganguly to cement his lead in Group A. Plus, Grandmaster Yaro Zhirabuk led an overwhelming storm of heavies against Cuban Grandmaster Lazaro Brazon. In Group B, with his queen poised to pick off International Master Jack Stembuliak's pieces in a hurry, Grandmaster J.J. Ali Morandi allowed himself to stay in contention with a win. At the halfway point, which players can stay afloat? Coverage of Round 5 starts now. With over $30,000 and pride on the line, 20 international chess professionals converge in St. Louis for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. Hello, chess fans, and welcome to St. Louis for coverage of Round 5 of today's second most notable tournament in the world. Oh, yeah. I'm Ben Simon, and this is
Vitaly Neimer.
And we are here with the 2018 Spring Chess Classic, and we're halfway through, Vitaly, Round 5 of 9.
Yeah, this is the hump round.
Yes.
Just in between, in the middle.
Yes. So after we're over the hump, it's all downhill from here. Hopefully not, though. Yeah. We have a lot of fun still to come. We have one result in so far, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at what happened last night in Group A.
Yeah, so we had 3 draws. Sam Shankland drawing with white pieces against Romain Edouard. Varuzhan Akobian drew against Alex Onishuk. And Darius Wirtz drew against Alex Ipatov. But we did have 2 decisive results. Actually, Black won in both of those games. Jeffrey Zhang beat Surya Ganguly, and Yaro Zhirabuk beat Lazaro Brazon.
And that sees Jeffrey Zhang in the lead. And let's take a look at the entire field as they stand after 4 rounds have been played.
Yeah, so it looks like Jeffrey Zhang is still in the lead with 3 points. After them, we have Alexander Onishuk and Varuzhan Akobian with 2.5 points each. Then we have a few players with 2 points and 1.5 points as well. Pretty close, still pretty close.
Indeed, and important to mention that Alexander Onishuk has just drawn his game with Sam Shankland, and so that means that Onishuk is now, at least temporarily, at the top with Jeffrey Zhang. And as for the other side of the room, the B group. The results last night are as follows, and we were not aware of these before we went off the air, and now for the first time we can show them to you.
Oh, look at that. So Andrei Gomez drew Viktor Mikhalevsky, Akshay Chandra drew Dasha Kalapan, Aaron Grabinski drew against Alexander Fier, J.J. Morandi won with the white pieces against Jack Stembuliak, and Ewander Liang lost to Melik Kachian.
And this puts Akshat Chandra, the 19-year-old from here in St. Louis, originally from Jersey, in the lead, and this is his tournament. You know, this is his tournament to win for sure, but it's certainly not over. Like we said, we have 4 more rounds to go.
Yeah, it looks like in both tournaments we have 2 youngsters leading it. Very interesting. And after him, we have 2 people with 2.5 points.
That's true. Very true indeed. And now the games going on right now at uschesschamps.com are as follows. In Group A, the big group, the Masters, here we are.
Yeah, we have Grandmaster Romain Edouard playing against Darius Wirtz, Grandmaster Alex Onishuk playing against Sam Shankland, Yaro Zhirabuk is playing against Var Akobian, Jeffrey Zhang against Lazaro Brazon, and Alex Ipatov is playing against Surya Ganguly.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Zhang against Lazaro Brazon is what I would call the game of the day. I think that is a very intriguing matchup indeed. And the question remains, can Lazaro Brazon halt Zhang's progress here, his momentum?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, and as for the Group B pairings, here's what's happening right now at uschesschamps.com. All of these games are still in progress, and yes, we can show them all to you today.
Yeah, we have Alexander Fier against Andrei Gorovets, Dasha Kanapan versus Aaron Grabinski, Melik Kachian versus Akshay Chandra, Jack Stembuliak against Ewander Liang, and Viktor Mikhalevsky against J.J. Morandi.
And I think it's quite obvious what the game to watch in this round has to be. 2 of the top 3 players here. In fact, Kachian is tied for second, third place. and Akshat Chandra in the lead, this is going to be a big game in the overall results of this tournament. So, will be fun to watch.
Yeah, so remember, this is the hump round. We're just in the middle of the tournament, which means that probably players on the bottom of the list will try to risk it to get to the top, and the players on the top of the list will probably just stay calm and secure the advantage.
One of the most overused cliches that we have on these broadcasts, I admit it, is blood on the board. But does that mean we could see blood on the board?
Yeah, I think one time we did see it, but it was on the chess club. If
there was who was that? Someone busted their finger open while they were hitting a chess club. Wesley So, thank you, Danny. Yeah. Wesley So busted his finger open. I think it was at the Sinkfield Cup or the Rapid and Blitz. One of the two.
I think it was like the Blitz, and they were playing so fast and they were just smashing those clocks, bam, trying to break them. That they broke their fingers. But yeah, we don't have it right now. Like
the staff was rushing around there, like, do we have Band-Aids? Like, we need a Band-Aid. We're like, what in the world went on up there? It's chess. Who knew? Okay, the tournament format for this event is as follows. We have 2 10-player round robins, an A field and the B field, as you saw. The time control is 90 minutes for 40 moves, with a 30-minute bonus for each clock after move 40, and there is a 30-second increment from move number 1. This tournament will feature the 30-move no-draw rule, which means that no player can agree to a draw until after both players' 30th move, allowing for more fighting chess. As well, in this tournament, well, let's take a look at the schedule. We are 5 of 9 rounds through. Each day we are going to be with you 2.5 hours after the start of the round. Each day starts at 1 p.m., but the last 2 rounds will begin at 11 a.m. And you'll notice, if you look at your calendar, that tomorrow is daylight saving time.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into daylight saving time. We're going to move up an hour. You're going to lose an hour of sleep. And so tomorrow it's going to feel like we're on the air at 2:30, but it will still be 3:30.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody set the alarm clocks correctly.
Yes, hopefully indeed. Also to note, you don't need to worry about next Thursday because there will be no playoffs for this tournament in the event of a tie at the top. They will share the prizes. And, Vitaly, there's a lot going on here. I have to ask, do you have any predictions?
Predictions?
Yes, predictions.
Pain.
Okay, and here's the prize fund for Group A, $22,000 total on the line. And that's a nice little breakdown right there. Yeah,
I mean, first place will take $6,000, and then second place and third place will take $4,000 and $3,000. Very nice prize fund, especially everybody gets something.
Yes, everyone goes home happy. Well, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Yeah. You always want to win. And the prizes for Group B are as follows: a $14,000 total prize fund, and it breaks down as such.
Yeah, so even in the B group, first place with a nice $4,000, $2,500 and $2,000 for the second and third place. And again, everybody gets something. And as we say, no pain, no gain.
Yes, it's a very rocky day here at the St. Louis Chess Club. Rocky Balboa, that is. For all of those fans out there. Great movie, masterpiece. All right, let's take a look at some of the games. I'd like to look at the game of the day in Group A. I'm talking about Jeffrey Zhang and Lazaro Brazone.
All right, let's get to the action. So we have Jeffrey Zhang against Lazaro Brazone. Jeffrey's playing with the white pieces. Let's see what do we have here. A quick assessment of the position. Looks pretty close. Even everybody has the same material. I'm not sure how to assess it, but to me it just looks equal. Again, I was saying that those players on the top, like Jeffrey Zhang, which is leading with the 3 points, he doesn't want to take any risks. I mean, why? Why should he take any risk? I mean, he's on the top. So we probably played pretty safe. We can look at how he got to this position real quick. E4 was played. Black did start with C5, which means that he's playing the Sicilian, something more sharp. Obviously, Brazone is trying to take over the top, D6, and knight to F6. Okay, an interesting line. Not taking on D4, bishop B5 check. Knight f takes on d7. d5, white gets the some space advantage here. c4, bishop g7, we have some piece development over here. So basically in those kind of structures, black is trying to push b5, attack on the queen side. White would probably try to maybe to push e5 or try to prevent b5 with playing a4. We have some piece development, knight to d1, lots of exchanges. So far, as you can see, everybody's just playing very, very safe. Some exchanges have happened. Taking on d5. Technically, white's pawn structure is supposed to be a bit better because of this pawn on d5. Again, more space. This backward pawn on d6 might become weak at some point. But really, white cannot attack this pawn on d6. We had a queen exchange. This is move number 19. Knight takes, knight to d3, knight to e4, rook to c1, and a5. You know, I think that, again, in this position, black is the one who is playing for a win. If you can see, those pawns are coming, a4, probably not b4, but a4, and taking on c4. Basically, black is trying to breach that wall of pawns that white has over here. If he succeeds in opening up the b file, I feel like black has lots of chances. It looks like Bruzon is, as you can see on the camera, he stood up, just stretching his legs. Looks like Jeffrey is under some pressure over here. It's difficult to be on the top.
Yes, and you know, you can't. What do you think of the mindset of just drawing his way to the end? Like, well, is it going to work? Vitaly, you said there's no reason to fight right now, right? He's on top, but not by a lot. Yeah,
that's true. Good point. I mean, if he draws this game, he's probably still be on place one, even though he might share that spot. But later on, I mean, it depends. But I would think that just drawing all of his games automatically is not such a good technique. He will have to still show some fighting chess, which is going to be interesting. And I think that, by the way, they are just in move number 22, and only about 20 minutes to each player. They are going to time travel, for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. And also to note about Jeffrey's spot in this tournament, yesterday we talked a little bit about the range of ratings in Group A compared to the range of ratings in Group B. And in A, it's a lot closer. Right. Everyone is nearly on the same footing here.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot closer field. I mean, you could tell by looking at the standings at uschesschamps.com that's the case. So it's not totally comfortable for Jeffrey, not at all.
Nice. So let's move on to the game of the day in Group B. Welcome back, Group B, right?
Yes, it's been a long time, hasn't it? I love seeing all these meters and games going. This is great.
So we have Melik Kachiad against Akshat Chandra. Akshat Chandra, he is in the lead. So let's look at this position right now. This is more of a much more imbalanced position, I would say. First of all, White's king is on f2, does not feel so safe. However, I do like his rooks. I do like White's queen on c4, attacking this rook on c2. I do like the bishop here. I do like the knight. I do like the pawn here on d5. I do like White's pieces a bit more. So only if White could just make one move just to kind of escape back to his king. I'm sure the king was forced to go to f2. But yeah, I do like White's position. However, now when I'm thinking about it, black is a pawn up. Almost forgot about this pawn on g6. It looks doubled, so it's hard to see, but black does have a pawn up. So it is very unbalanced. The queen is attacking this rook on a2. Black is probably thinking about something like, where do I bring this rook? Should I bring it to a4 to attack his queen? Should I bring it to, I don't know, a8 just to make sure that I defend the back rank? Or should I maybe try to play something like queen a8 and do something on the a file, although I don't really see a reason why black would do that, because that's going to leave the king much more exposed. Interesting game. Let's see how the game started from the beginning. White played e4. Okay, we have not seen lots of e4 games in this tournament, mostly d4 and c4. So maybe this was kind of a Melik's preparation for today's game. Let's see, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, bishop c5, d3. We have the Goiko pianissimo, which is very fashionable nowadays, castle, d6, c3. So actually white and black are both fine here. This is going to relate to the Ruy Lopez technique, where white just going to try to play d4 at some point and maneuvering with the pieces. So bishop b5 was played, knight is going, eventually white did play d4, knight goes to g6, d5, getting some space, especially for the knight on c4. Here is where he got the pawn. So here's the moment where white decided, I'm going to snap this a5 pawn, but black obviously does not give it for free. He's going to take on f2, king takes, rook takes on a5. Yeah, it's difficult to assess such a position. Right now it looks like, I think that black is fine, but also white is fine. We just have to go and see what happened. Queen d2, take, we got a few exchanges. Rook takes a2, bishop takes g6, pawn takes g6, queen f4. White recognizes that black has this pawn on d6, which is a weakness. Queen f8 was played, queen c4 was the last move that was played. And let's see, I think that we have a few moves played after queen c4. Akshat played rook to a8, bringing the rook back to the defense of the back rank, and queen to c7 was played. Yeah, I like this queen on c7. I don't know if she's going to stay there for long, but really she's putting some pressure on all those pieces, the bishop and the two pawns. Yeah, I think we're going to see some fireworks over here.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So again, time pressure. This is move number 26. Both of the players, especially Akshay Chandra, looks like it's getting there into time pressure. You can see him kind of moving around in his chair, thinking about the move. I do think that Melik looks a little bit more relaxed, probably determined, as I can see, just looking around. But we are definitely going to get back to this game.
One of the games that maybe isn't quite as even here is in Group B, Viktor Mikhailevsky and JJ Alimirandi.
All right, let's look at Victor's game.
It's interesting to me.
So, if I remember correctly, Victor lost yesterday.
Victor actually yesterday drew his game.
He drew, right.
Yeah, drew
probably 2 rounds ago.
Yes.
He
lost to Shembeliak in the 3rd round.
Right. So it's going to be nice to see if he can get his way back to the top of the list. So this is going to be one of the important games of the day. As you can see, Victor decided to play c4, which is the English defense, and black played this f5 move, going to the Dutch, the English-Dutch defense. So g3 was played. This is a pretty popular standard piece development. We have fianchettoing of both of the bishops. White decided not to play the pawn to d4. I think this would be kind of my choice, just to get more of a hold of the center, but this is just a taste preference. Some people just prefer to play d3. White gets this nice structure. It almost looks like the dragon, or it looks like the white dragon. So right. Black plays it with black. So castle and now e4. Wow, okay. So definitely white is saying, I'm going to play this risky game over here. d6. We have a few exchanges here. Castle, knight e6. b3, knight f4, bishop f7, h4. I definitely think like white is doing everything possible to push. However, I'm quite worried about this diagonal, opening up this knight here. So we'll see what happens. e6, knight going back to e2, knight d4. We had a few exchanges, and now we had a sacrifice. So white has sacrificed the exchange. In return, he got nothing. Well, no pawn, as far as I can see. I mean, he right now, black, in this position at least, J.J. Morandi has rook for a bishop. So yes, so the white queen is pretty influential on this diagonal, and probably his idea is to play something like bishop to h6 and then threaten the rook on f8 and to do something on g7. So rook e8 was played, and then e5, d5. So now I think that there is a slight, there is a compensation for white, definitely because of this bishop on f7. So d5 was played, take, queen takes, bishop g2, queen d3. I also don't like this knight on h5. It's kind of out of the game on the bench. Rook e1, rook d8, knight c3, bishop e8, take. So white does get a pawn here. Bishop g5. Yeah, white's bishops are just so good coordinated together. Knight e4. We had a few moves back here. Black's idea is basically to push c4, and he needs to activate his rooks because, I mean, he's kind of a rook for bishop. Bishop c6 is trying to exchange the bishop, and we are at this position. Let me just refresh the board just to make sure. There were a few moves played. Take knight takes g3, queen to b2, and here we are. Very, very interesting position. So what do we have here? Do we have the times correctly? So it looks like Viktor Michalevsky has 2 minutes.
That's what I have. Yeah, those times look correct to me, actually.
Yeah, and J.J. Morandi has 40 minutes. That's wow. That's a huge advantage. Huge advantage. So even though materially looks like black is better, maybe his position is better. Also, he has the time advantage. So
right, and this doesn't mean like he's going to run out of time, right? This isn't sudden death. The players do get a 30-second increment with each move. The 30 seconds added on, they get to keep it, and it runs down. The issue is with less time to think, which Michalevsky will be forced to have, your moves, the excellence of your moves is going to suffer.
right.
And so that will, you'll be at move 40. You'll have all the time in the world again, brand new half hour.
Exactly.
But your position will be just toast.
Yeah. So right now, Viktor Michalevsky is focusing on the quantity, not on the quality. He needs to play lots and lots
By
of
necessity.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like some kind of poem, right?
Quantity, not quality, by necessity of the clock.
Yes.
All right. Let's move. Let me refresh my page real quick.
Aaron Grabinski is in trouble against Priyadarshyn Kanapan in Group B. I know we've been looking at a lot of Group B here, but I don't know. It looks like Aaron may be not long for this round.
Okay.
Maybe some breakthroughs. There's lots of pawns storming up that board. You able to find that game?
That is true.
Are you locked up?
I think so. I think I have some problems here with the computer. It's the
Okay.
weekend.
It is the weekend.
Yeah, he's his his day off. I don't know.
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what. Let's let's go to a break, and
Yeah.
we're going to try to fix this issue. And if we can't, we'll just come back and talk about the candidates.
Exactly, yeah. Sounds
All right.
good.
So we'll be back in just a bit. We're going to try to clear this computer issue up and then bring you the rest of the games.
A question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's still something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because should I do it?
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not a lot.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is quite strong. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. Sadly, it would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
And we're back, just like that. The magic happened. We have fixed the computer. Yay!
Yes, okay.
Welcome back to the Spring Chess Classic, coverage of round number 5. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
Yes, and we were looking at some of the games here. And before we talk about the big main events that were happening earlier on today in the other part of the world, I would like to look at Priyadarshan and Grabinski. This looks like it's going to be over pretty soon.
Okay, interesting. Priyadarshan and Kanapan. By the way, they're both close friends, both studying at the same school. So I wonder if they know both each other's style and preparation. It looks like Priyadarshan has. We have again this huge margin between the time that players have on the clock. So PD is with 3 minutes and Aaron with 38 minutes. Well.
PD is, of course, your buddy nickname for Priyadarshan. I don't know him well enough to call him.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, though.
So, yeah, saves a lot of space, you know, to fill some forms. Okay, so let's look at what happened. So, in this position, White has, looks pretty messy, but this queen on d7 looks pretty good. Is there a reason why can't the queen just take this rook on a7? Huh.
It's a good question,
It
but I
looks
don't
like
think it makes any difference.
yeah, it looks like Aaron just played this move c6 as a last move, and he's giving up his rook. Okay, interesting idea. Maybe a bluff, but maybe the last resort. But what happens? What's his idea if White just takes this pawn, this rook? I'm sorry. You can see that you can only take on e6, but I mean, White is just like 2 rooks for a bishop, and this, pawn is coming over something like, I don't know, check, and just even a7. I don't even think that there is any chance for perpetual checker in this position. Yeah, almost looks doomed here for black. Let's see how it happened. We have d4, e6, bishop to b4. By the way, this variation, if I'm not mistaken, it has a very unique name. This is called the kangaroo variation.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I'm going to be teaching a lecture here at the St. Louis Chess Club about chess openings with the most peculiar names.
Is that the Monday night class you'll be teaching?
One of
Chess
them.
Openings Explained. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah, so there's like the hedgehog, the dragon.
Right.
We have the kangaroo. Yeah.
Okay.
We have.
It's just called the kangaroo opening.
Yes.
I've never heard of that. Wow. Okay.
And that's probably because the bishop is just coming out to b4 over here, just jumping over. Knight d2 was played. Knight f6 a3. So let's see. I guess the kangaroo goes back, jumps back, e4. d6, bishop d3, castle. I do like White's position. I mean, White is having some space advantage, and looks like Black wanted to exchange some the black square bishops. Bishop h3, preventing White from castling. Okay, so far so good. It's pretty even. So let's see what happened. This was okay. White wanted to exchange the bishops. Okay, king takes f1. White loses the option to castle, but the king will probably come to g2, and it's going to feel pretty safe here. And now queen e8. I wonder if could Black play here something like f5. f5 probably not, because if pawn takes, I cannot take on f5 because I'm hanging a knight. So this will not work. So that's probably why Black played this move queen e8 to defend the knight. h4, bishop to h6, queen c2, king h8, g4. Wow, what a turn of events. As I said, I mean, those players who are on the bottom of the standing lists are going to fight very ferociously. I mean, they have nothing to lose. So let's see what happens. So suddenly White is the one who is attacking on the king side. g4, knight f4. So far so good. Knight g2, queen d7, f3, rook a8, h5. I wonder, still I have a feeling that this rook on f8 just aligned over the king on f1, and really Black should probably try to open up the f file. If he doesn't, then there is no counterplay for Black. So I wonder if Black just waited too long to make this to work, and now White is the one who is opening up the h file. Very exciting game. Bishop g5, and now knight takes f4, pawn takes f4. Okay, but now White will have the h file and this diagonal looking over this king. And look at that. Once Black took on f4, that is it. That is fixed. That is it. There is no way that Black is ever going to open up this f file. Well, not never, but it's going to be super difficult for Black to open this up. So now, as we said, White is going to use this diagonal, and now I like more and more White's position, especially threatening this mate. This diagonal is very, very strong for White. f6, knight on d4, knight is coming here to e6, knight c5 is stopping the octopus from coming to e6, queen to c2, preparing b4, queen f7, b4, And now white is taken, and white does put the knight on e6, and I gotta say it's a very painful sight to see for black, this knight coming on e6. And yeah, as you can see, this is where black decided, okay, I don't want this to play with this knight on e6. That's going to be impossible for me. So he decides to sacrifice, but I don't think that this is going to help him. White just now tries to activate his rooks and expose the position, open up the files with a6, c5, sacking everything. Queen d7 gets in there, and now black decides, what am I doing? My bishop is hanging here on e7. The queen is coming here to to c8. How am I defending anything? And playing c6. Wow, that's what I call all in. Queen takes on a7. Let's see. Let's refresh the board real quick. Probably a few moves were played. c6. He did not take the rook. Wow, he did not. So PD decides not to take the rook and plays queen to c8. Still looks pretty winning. And now rook takes on b6. Rook a8. His black really does not like this rook on a8.
Please take my rook.
Yes. It's like, well, what is going on here? And now PD is thinking about this. I mean, what is going on here? Why? So again, if I just take this rook, the only option for black would be to take this pawn and try somehow to check with the queen on c4, and then somehow to bring the queen somewhere here on c2 and c1 and perpetual check. But I mean, remember, this is white to move, and I don't even see how to. Okay, let's try to make this move. Queen takes c6. Queen to c4 check. King to g1. Queen to d4 check. Can I escape the checks? Check. And king to h3. Okay, so now no more checks. But what if the queen comes, for example, here to f2? I want to checkmate white on g3. But now it is white to move, and now all the pieces are coming together. Queen h6. Probably I'm going to take on h7. Yeah, it looks like to me that the queen here and the rook will have no problems in to decide the game. I think a few more games, a few more moves played. No, I just saw PD just raise his hand.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. Both of these players aren't in the best of positions in this event so far. Pridarshan's drawn all of his games. It's decent. Grabinski, actually, he's sitting at -2, but remember, Grabinski was the last-minute replacement. Took the event on 2 or 3 days' notice, replacing Grandmaster James Tarjan. So, still being the lowest rated player in the field, who knows how much time he had to actually study up on his opponents.
Right.
Probably knows more about Pridarshan than others, because, as you said, they are friends. So, intriguing. We expect Pridarshan to take this one in a short amount of time, I'd say.
Yeah, and don't forget that, well, not only Aaron, but also PD, they're both still in school. Still, you have the finals, the homework and the papers. Not so easy to combine chess and...
It's not. And Group A's Yaro Zero book was in here yesterday, and I think you said, what was your preparation like? And he said,
yeah,
I didn't prepare.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Just had to do my homework.
The game is over.
Yeah.
You saw the handshake right there. Pridarshan Kanapan has gotten the full point in Group B. We have several other results for you. While we were talking, Roman Edouard and Daro Svirts in Group A have drawn, along with Onashuk and Shanklin, their draw, which happened right as we went on the air. In Group B, our game of the day, Melik Kachian and Akshat Chandra, that game is a draw. We took a glance at that. It looked like it might end up that way. And now I'm just looking for some lopsided games because I don't want to miss any decisive ones. Alexander Fear and Andrei Gorovets sticks out here in Group B.
All right, let's look at that, and hopefully we can get PD in here to ask him what was his preparation. And he won the game against Aaron. He did not take the rook. He did not take. He refused to take the rook for three moves. Even the queen went on d7, and that's where Aaron said, "Okay, I cannot I cannot stand that. That you cannot just don't take my gift," and I resign.
Yes, and I'm being told that we are expecting a resignation shortly from Michalevsky and Ali Morande. Ali Morande has made time control in Group B, but a resignation is expected shortly.
Let's look at that. We have lots of decisive games today, going pretty quickly.
You called it. You called it.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to see more desperation. If it, you know, I don't want to be too dramatic here, but more desperation, more risk taking.
Right. They have nothing to lose. So let's play some fun chess, and yeah. So let's look at.
All right, Andrei Gorovets has defeated Alexander Fear. That game is now over. We talked to Andre earlier on in this event. If we could, I mean, I'd like to talk to Priyadarshan.
Yeah,
Priyadarshan
definitely
would be a good candidate. If we could get Priyadarshan down here, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and looks like if Viktor Michalevsky will win, which he probably will because he's just almost just a clean piece up, it's going to be interesting to talk to him as well.
Yes, for sure. You know, I have the toughest time getting shots of him in the tournament hall. When I'm up there, I go up there at the beginning of the round, and I have a camera, and that's when I do the intro.
Yeah.
And a lot of players, you know, they make a few moves, and they get up, and we get some tea or coffee.
Yeah.
He is up as much as possible. That guy does not like to sit down, at least in the opening. So it's tough to get shots of the Israeli Grandmaster Viktor Michalevsky.
Yeah. And it's strange because he's very tall, so it's supposed to be easier to get some shots of him, huh?
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So that looks like they just made move number 40, and I have to say that probably something happened. You know, that time we said that time pressure probably in the last 10 moves is where White got the upper hand. And I think that now J.J. Morandi, if you look at the camera on the video, he just thinks to himself, you know, I mean, I have an hour, and Victor has half an hour, but he's a piece up. Do I really want to continue here? You know, I mean, I have another game to play tomorrow. Should I even continue? Because before that, he just wanted to make the time control to get another half an hour. But I don't know. It looks like he made a move. So he keeps fighting. I like the fighting
style.
style.
Rook c3 or something.
Rook
c3.
c3.
Just check the king.
Let's see. So we have some moves coming in. Knight b7 and Rook c3. Yeah, just make a check. But probably the king is probably going to go to f4. And although even though Black has a pawn for the knight, this pawn in h7 is such a huge weakness. The Rook is going to come here to h1. Attack this pawn on h7, and really we don't have. I don't see a plan for Black. I mean, the Rook can come to a3, try to get this pawn on a2, but I think that the game is going to be finished pretty decisively. I mean, there is no. I mean, the knight cannot be restricted or captured. The knight can always go back to d6. Yeah, I would say that Victor will probably win this game. Who do we have left? The only game at section B that we have left is Evander Liang playing against Jack Stembuliak. Let's look at what is going on here. Yeah, also a pretty complicated position. They are at move number 27. And again, Jack has only 3 minutes and Wanda has 11 minutes, so they are both in time pressure. White is a pawn up, but his king feels a little bit lonely here, especially the queen on f5 is pretty active. So I'm not sure which side I would choose, to be honest. Maybe just because of the time, I would maybe choose Black, just to give myself some time, because I think probably something like Queen h3 is coming, and White is going to have some troubles on the h2 square, and so I'm not sure what would be the result in this game. Let's look at some old games. Let's look at...
also, I got to tell you, Vitaly, in Group A, Yaro Zherabuk and Akobian, it says they've drawn. I don't know if that's the correct result. If you want to take a glance at that just for a moment.
All right, Yaro Zherabuk drew against Verusian Akobian. Let's look at this one. How it happened here. So this was the final position. Queen to h1, check, king, and there was a perpetual check. I wonder if the king could have made go forward somewhere else. Queen to e1, king to h3. I wonder, so what do we have here? So black, how many pawns do we have? We have 6 pawns for white, and we have 6 pawns for black. Very complicated position, to be honest, to assess. This probably came from the French, if this would be my bet. But yeah, so apparently they just drew, and we will see them coming back. Okay, so at this moment, I'm proud to have a guest here, Priyadarshan Kanapan.
Hello, Vitaly.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Yeah. I was just saying to everybody that we call you PD.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
So I was saying that it's much easier for the forums probably, like just to put some PD over
Yeah, it was funny. Today I went to this cafeteria and I said PD. They called me Speedy for the first time.
Speedy, PD the Speedy.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Maybe it's going to be a new nickname.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your win today.
Thank you.
You beat your team member.
Yeah, exactly.
But as we say, it's only business.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's look at the game. I assume that you prepared a little bit for the game. Let's look at the game, how the game went from the beginning. I assume you felt pretty confident.
Yeah, I played d4. I mean, I normally don't play d4, but I found that he goes into this kind of a Bogo Indian, but by e6 move order. So there were some fine nuances that I thought I could exploit if I go to in this move order. Yeah. That's why I went for e6, and here I played c4.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing Aaron, he used to play the French. So the idea of playing e6 here so early is that if white plays e4, he can get you into the French. But you said, nah, we ain't no French today. So you played c4 and bishop b4, and now I was telling Ben that I think this variation is called the kangaroo variation.
I thought it was called the Keres, some sort of Keres system, I believe.
Okay, I guess I just liked just to invent some name for animals. I thought that this was one called kangaroo. Okay, so check. So I assume this maybe surprised you a little bit.
No, not really. I had this prepared with bishop b4, and I went knight d2. This was all in my preparation, and then he went knight f6, a3, bishop e7, e4. And here I was expecting him to go d5 because this is basically Bogo Indian, just that I haven't committed knight gf3 yet. That's the whole difference. So there are some lines where I can go e5, knight fd7, and queen g4, which makes a very critical difference. And there's only 3 games in database in this position.
He still transposes to the French. Almost looks like the French here. Right?
Oh yeah, some sort of French. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does look like white usually has a little bit of some dangerous attack on the king side.
Exactly. I mean, I spent 1 hour looking at this position, and I got some idea, so I thought, okay, I can go into this. But then he surprised me playing d6, which he normally does not go when he plays the Bogo Indian. So here I decided, okay, this is a new position for me. I don't know anything, so I'll start thinking. And then I realized I don't want to transpose into a Bogo Indian. Maybe he has some familiarity with that, so I decided to go knight to e2 then. So I first played bishop d3. And then after...
And did he play this move d6 pretty fast? Or
he normally plays very fast.
Right.
So he played it fast. So I don't know if he just tried to bluff or get some ideas on d6. So I just played bishop d3 and then castles.
How do you usually approach such fast players? I mean, do you change anything? Do you just try to play fast against them, just to to match their style, or you just like keep it calm?
Last time I played Aaron, I tried to match the style and it didn't go well. I just made a draw in like a better position. So this time I was like, I'll just like sit and like spend all my time on the clock, and it doesn't matter how fast he plays. I'll play in my own pace.
Yeah,
is what I decided.
great advice, by the way. I remember when I was a kid, I was always, when somebody was playing fast against me, I had to play it was almost like a match, like a race. I was going to play faster. But great advice from PD over here. Just stay calm and just calculate your variations.
Yeah, so I like this knight e2 because now certain lines I thought if black goes to e5 and followed with bishop g4, I have f3. But if my knight was on f3, then he would be able to exchange with. So in case. Yeah, if my knight was on f3, he could take bishop takes f3 and his kind of get rid of his kind of bishop c8 bishop in some case.
Right. So you get
I decided knight e2, e5, and then d5. Yeah, and he played a5 here. Yeah, here I kind of rushed and played b3. I think it was not necessary. I should have just castled. I would say it's a dubious move, d3, because
it looks like a better version of the King's Indian for you, because his bishop maybe not on g6. I'm not sure if it's.
I think it's like a old Indians or whatever they call it. Yeah, I don't know the exact name, but I definitely felt it was a great version for me to get like this position at the opening. But then I started playing very bad for the next few moves. I was like, I didn't really like my position like 10, 5, 6 moves later. So yeah, b3, and then obviously the idea of him was to go a4 and go knight d7, knight c5. That's why I went b3.
Right.
And so that I don't give him an outpost. And here even knight h5, and here I started becoming very creative and played very weird moves, which I'm pretty sure computer would not approve. I went knight f1.
Knight f1, and the idea is to.
The idea is to go knight e3 and kind of stop f5. That's one. And also in certain lines I had knight fg3. So if he plays knight g3, I take with the h pawn, and I don't short castle, but I just try to attack on the h file. Yeah,
and you maybe even keeping your king in the center.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the king on center. Maybe I could even long castle in some positions, in these type of positions.
It's kind of like a trend. I see more and more people, especially high-rated people, who do not castle, attack on the H file, the A file. It's everything what we are teaching is against it, right? Because every time we have a new student, we're trying to teach them castle, develop the pieces, and suddenly here we maneuver around.
Yeah, but the position is closed here, so it's not really needed to castle. I mean, if it's open position, yeah, it's riskier. But that's what you see actually a few moves later in this game. I had like huge issues with my king.
Right.
So stick to your basics is better version than what I did.
I see.
Yeah. So knight e3, and then he played, I believe he went g6. Yeah, already I think he kind of equalized, or maybe he's like getting close to equality. And g3, I have no idea why I played this move. I just thought I was just going to attack, but nothing happened. He went bishop h3, which I think is a very strong move.
Yeah, so now it prevents you from castling. So it's illegal to castle in this position. And now we have some problems to solve.
And also, he also stopped h4, which was one of my ideas potentially. So yeah, here I went knight c3. Because my original idea was I thought somehow I could trap the bishop on h3. But the deeper I thought about this position, I realized it's not going to happen. So when he went knight a6, here my first idea was to go g4 here. And then go queen f3, like knight f4 and queen f3 and things like that. But obviously here I can't go immediately, I lose the bishop on d3. But I can pull back c2, queen f3. But then obviously he has like moves like h5 and get rid of, like open up the file for the bishop, and also anyway the bishop is protected by the knight.
Yeah, also not so easy to get this knight out of there.
Yeah, so what I thought was, instead of going g4 immediately, first go bishop e2, force the knight to go to g7, then go g4. This was my idea. But then I realized, how is my queen going to come to f3? I had to go again bishop d3 and go queen f3. But by then he will have queen c8 and f5 and all that stuff. So I realized, okay, this is not going to happen. So I thought I was getting close to becoming worse. I decided, okay, I'll play bishop f1, at least try to get my king to safety. But by now I was already very unhappy with my position. Yeah, so he played bishop f1, king f1. And queen e8, which is also a very good move because he's threatening to go f5.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking at this position and I was discussing, I was like, well, this king is in front of the rook, as the black just needs to open up the f file and things will go very southward. But he cannot play f5 immediately because he's going to lose the knight.
Yeah.
So that's why he played queen
Yeah,
A.
and the funny line is if I play e5, bishop e3, after f5, e takes f5, bishop takes e3, bishop takes e3, rook f5, I have g4. So here I'm win the piece.
Right.
Well, yeah. So he has to go queen e8, h4, bishop h6, and here, and also there was another, again bishop e3 possible here, which was interesting. Bishop takes e3, bishop e3, f5, ef5. He could take with g or rook. Rook f5 is g4, knight g3, king g2, knight h1, gfa, and the knight is trapped there in this line.
Oh, nice. Take,
Yeah.
and the knight is trapped
Yeah,
over here.
in this line.
Very
So,
nice.
but he could take with a g pawn, and I think that's just unclear here at
Yeah.
this point.
I mean, I don't know. I think this was probably the best bet for black to play, because then he may bring his queen, and the rook comes to e8, and he has some f4 ideas.
Yeah.
So that was probably the critical moment that he had
Yeah,
to
exactly.
push f5.
Also, I think there was one more critical moment, like 2-3 moves late, like the next move, I believe, in this game. Yeah, so queen e8, and also here I was down in clock by like 20 minutes or so. It's like getting.
Yeah, it's okay. Everybody who plays against Aaron, they're all down on the clock. We never yet seen somebody more with time against Aaron.
Yeah.
So.
So h4, bishop h6, and I played queen c2 because there was no other good way for me to stop f5, and I thought this at least. And here was the most critical moment of the game where he made a huge mistake, I would say. King h8. He had to go knight c5, and I think he maintained his advantage here.
Right.
The idea of knight c5 is one is a4 is coming. And if something similar to game happens, if I go g4, he has knight f4, and then the knight can jump to d3. That's the critical variation. And also, in some lines when I go if he goes a4, if I go b4, he has knight b3, and take on c1 and take on e3 with the bishop in certain lines.
I see.
So, yeah, and I spent like 40 minutes on playing queen c2 because I just didn't like my position, but I had to accept that I'm worse. So here mentally I was like, okay, if I take a draw, I'm happy, but it was only move 17, so I need to 13 moves, I need to keep the position close. That was what it was going on in my mind at this
Good
point.
strategy. Yeah, and yeah, I agree with you. Knight c5 just looks more logical, just to bring another piece into the game.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so guys just play more naturally, right? So more principle. King h8 is probably preparing f5, but also put his king on this diagonal, which became very weak.
And also, I think the bigger than that is that it's on the h file, because later on when you saw I played g4 h5, it came under the pin. That was the bigger issue than the bishop b2 to h8 diagonal.
Right.
There.
Yeah, I was mentioning that who is going to open the file, who's going to strip who first, on the F file or on the H file. So play G4, very nice move, knight F4, knight G2, then you wanted to exchange this knight.
Yeah, and here again I thought he could have gone knight c5. Queen d7 bit surprised me. Because once again, the idea of knight c5 is like potentially the knight comes to d3, one of the knights, and things like that. Yeah, so f3, and then here he went rook a e8, which kind of surprised me because now I have this move h5.
So still there is no f5 here? Now,
if he goes f5 here, the idea is e takes f5, g takes f5, bishop takes f4, bishop takes f4, and I play g5. So next move I take on f4, and I think this is, and then my knight comes to e2. But I mean, I think it's still unclear. Maybe white is slightly better. And knight f4, e4, knight e2, and I can play some queen c3. So I saw this position with queen g7 here, and then I can, as I kind of assess this position as most probably unclear, but I'm not worse anymore.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely not worse, but it's still better than what he got in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this was definitely way better than what he got in the game.
Yeah.
After rook e8, h5, here he should have gone g5. His last try to keep the game, in equal terms. But after bishop g5, I'm clearly better.
Yeah.
Because I think after the game I was talking to him, and he was more worried that I would go knight e3, knight f5. He had gone g5. But I was telling him that I have a knight on f5, you have a knight on f4. It's kind of like equal. So like knight e3, bishop g7, knight f5, bishop f6, and then his bishop gets out. and he should try to go some c6, b5 break. But my king is now safe because I've closed the king side.
Yeah, yesterday there was also two players who had those knights over here, and I was mentioning it looks like a beauty contest. Whose knight is better, my knight or your knight? So yeah, this was his last chance, but he played bishop g5, and now he
it's
gave
getting,
it to.
it's going like he went. Yeah, his position got deteriorated very rapidly, and he also started. He gave up in sense. Like he didn't think deeply. He should have. He had like 1 hour, and I had like 5 minutes with like 14 moves to make.
Oh,
so
maybe he played on time.
he could have, but here this like position is close, so there's not like a lot of tactics. Like okay, he said like 1 for knight c5. I thought his threat was to go knight e4. So I was like okay, and also obviously he's stopping my b4 with knight a4. So I just like I'll play queen c2, and now I defend both a4 and e4 in a single move.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
still very impressive that you're playing all this game with his king on f1 and in front of the rook. But after he captured on f4, then that's it, right? I mean, the file is locked, and
I'm very happy with how safe my king is.
After b4 and you took after knight came to e6, I'm pretty sure you know that you're gonna win. Probably.
Exactly. Here, okay, I had just a debate if I had to go f5 or e6. And f5 looked optimally more pleasing because it's a great outpost. But I decided, material is material. With low time, I could just having extra material gives me more confidence than, because I saw some lines with knight e5, bishop e5, fe5 here, and his bishop is kind of getting out of g5, which is pretty bad right now. But after fe5, some moves like bishop d8 can come. So I thought maybe he has some chances. Why to give him just take the material and then try to convert it later on.
Right. Yeah. Good choice. So knight e6, and he chose to.
I was actually, if you go back 2 moves, instead of fg6, I was surprised he took with the queen. He could have taken with the h pawn, and that was still interesting because queen h2, queen g7. Here go back a move. 2 moves. No.
All right, so so when he took with the queen. So
he could take with the h pawn. There was this line queen h2, queen g7, knight e6. I thought this kind of maybe gave him some more chances but okay, it's not a huge one. But I thought this was slightly better, but not a huge difference. Yeah, okay. So he took with the queen, and then
this bishop on g5 just looks
kind of dead. That's the biggest issue he has had. So after queen g6, knight e6, rook e6, and I just decided to simplify and go queen d3. If he goes queen e6, I have queen d5. I decided that as the safest way.
Right.
And then, but he decided, he kind of forced me to open the position in a nice way.
Tell us about the end game. It was so funny because queen d7, and I looked at the position at first time. It was like a c6, and I was like, okay, let's assess this position. And I was like, wait a second. Can't you just take the pawn on a7? It's just like, do we have the right position?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, c6 was the last move even. Like, what is going on here? So what happened?
This was move 38, and I had 2 minutes on the clock, and I started thinking queen a7, queen e6, and if I go queen b8 check, let's say he has bishop f8. And then I wasn't really sure how my queen could come and defend. For example, if let's say I play a7, most probably it should be winning. I just didn't want to take this chance because a7, queen c4 check, king g2, queen e2 check, king h3, queen f3, king h4, queen g3, king h5 should be winning. Right. My king walks to h5, and I'm like, why to take unnecessary risk? I mean, I have the game completely in my control, but this is like, even if I'm winning, still I'm giving him 1 or 2 slight hope, right? Just like why to give him that hope? So I decided let me just hold the e6 pawn, which is the most critical thing. And then funnily he again offered me the rook next move.
Right, you took on b6 and again rook a8. It's just
and
like,
I'm like,
take this rook, please.
I'm like, okay. Chance. I'm like, okay, I don't want to give him any hope. I'll just go queen d7 because now it was funny. If he goes rook a7 after queen d7, I just take queen a7, queen e6, queen e7. Queen e7, rook b7. So that was what I was like. I just wanted to I don't want to move my king from f1. Let it stay there. Yeah. That was my idea. So
nice. Well, so very nice win. Do you know who you're playing tomorrow?
I think I'm playing Alexander Fear, and I have the black pieces tomorrow.
So tough match. How are you managing school and chess?
Very hard. It's very tough. And this is my last semester in college, so kind of, just 2 more months, a lot of things
Nice.
together.
But what's your major in?
I'm doing my master's in management and leadership, and then I had an undergrad in marketing, so something in business is where I'm
All right. Maybe some one of those startups. You're gonna be a leader.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So good luck if
Thank
you're
you.
looking for a job or anything. Yeah, we have another guy coming into the job market.
Yeah, thanks for that. For
Yeah.
the shout out. Thank you.
Yeah, we're welcome. So thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
And we are going to go into a short commercial break, and stay with us. We're going to come back.
There's a weekend vacation on one tank trip in a nearby city you won't want to skip. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton. There's museums full of art and super fun slides. Upside down concretes, twisty turny rides. Houses full of magic, some with butterflies. Gardens growing flowers, parks with giant eyes. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton.
You could fly to Venice or Paris or even Copenhagen. You could fly all over the world. But why? When you could just come to St. Louis. Your trip begins at ExploreSt.Louis.com.
A moment comes in chess when you need to test yourself at a different level. Chess 24 Premium offers the tools that you need to reach your maximum potential. From hundreds of interactive video lessons to becoming part of the Chess 24 community. You can analyze with friends or coach your students live. You get 24/7 coverage of chess news and events, access to premium analysis and commentary, and the chance to interact with grandmasters and other top players and coaches. Get advice from the best and even challenge them to a battle. Be the best chess player you can be. It's time to level up your game with Chess 24 Premium membership.
Be surprised. Be intrigued. Be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
Hello, chess fans, and welcome back to coverage of Round 5 of the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And we want to thank Priyadarshan Kanapan for just coming in and giving that wonderful interview. It's great talking with a guy like him. He's a very friendly dude. I've known him around here in St. Louis for a few years now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's actually one of my best friends. He's originally from India, but he came here on a scholarship and finishing his master's here.
And as we are taking looks here at the fields, Group A looks like it's going to end up all draws today. There's still one game in progress. That's Ipatov and Ganguly, and it looks like an even end game.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I was looking for some more pain, as I said.
Yeah, yes.
No pain today for Group A.
Well, Group B might be a slightly different story. The entire field is wrapped up for Group B, and we do hope to have. We are told we're going to have Viktor Michalevsky in here to talk about his victory over J.J. Alimirandi. We were just giving him a few minutes to go over the game, you know. And that's kind of important. A lot of players want a moment to go over the game because they might have missed something.
Yeah, it's always interesting to analyze with your opponent.
Yes. Yeah. While we're taking a breather from the action, let's talk about what happened today. In Berlin, Germany, the opening day of the 2018 Candidates Tournament. And for those of you not in the know, that is how we determine who plays Magnus Carlsen for the World Chess Championship late this year in London. So in Berlin, there is an 8-player double round-robin tournament. All play all twice, once with each color. And actually in this event, we have 3 Russians, and we have 2 Americans.
Yeah.
And I should have looked this up. I don't recall any time in an 8-player candidates event, it's never happened, where there have been 2 Americans in the field.
Yeah, USA.
Man. So Fabiano Caruana and Wesley So are in this event, and today actually they played each other in Berlin. Now this tournament, because they have they have like nationalities, the 3 Russians and 2 Americans, those players have been formulated to play each other early on. To avoid any of that Fischer-style collusion, the Soviet Union's colluding with each other.
Yeah.
So Wesley and Fabiano meet first, and I believe they play again in round 8. There's going to be 14 rounds in all, and we're telling you all about this because even though that's in Europe and we're here in St. Louis, starting on March 22nd, round 10 of 14, we're going to have coverage, abbreviated coverage, starting at noon St. Louis time of the 2018 Candidates Tournament. And by then, we will have kind of a picture of who's the front runners in this event.
Yeah, definitely interesting. By the way, so today's, so the participants, we have Levon Aronian, we have Ding Liren, Caruana Fabiano, Wesley So, Sergei Karyakin, and Shakiriar Mamidyarov, Vladimir Kramnik, and Alexander Grishchuk. Today, Levon Aronian drew against Ding Liren. Caruana Fabiano beat with the white pieces Wesley So. Sergei Karyakin lost to Shakiriar Mamidyarov, and Vladimir Kramnik beat with the white pieces Alexander Grishchuk. By the way, Vladimir Kramnik, he was the wild card, which means that he did not qualify to a tournament or through a rating, but he was actually picked by the organizers, and it looks like he's bringing it. He's showing his thanks for picking him by winning his first game. Now I was always wondering how this qualification always works. I know that here in St. Louis we have the Grand Chess Tour. There are some other tournaments that people are qualifying. So how does that usually work?
So the World Chess Championship goes back all the way to the 19th century. And ever since the 40s, it's been sanctioned by FIDE, the World Chess Federation. The Grand Chess Tour, presented by St. Louis and London and the teams in Brussels and Paris, is not that circuit is not directly affiliated with the World Chess Championship cycle. The Grand Chess Tour standings, unfortunately, have no bearing on the World Chess Championship qualification. But FIDE has their own qualification. First of all, the runner-up of the 2016 match was Sergei Karyakin.
Right.
That match was in New York City. A great setup there. Actually, I'm wearing my pin from that event. So Sergei gets an automatic entry into the field of 8. The top 2 finishers of the World Cup, which is that 128-player huge knockout event, Aronian and Ding Liren. That's how they qualified. The top 2 finishers in the FIDE Grand Prix, which is a series of tournaments similar to the Grand Chess Tour, Shakiriar Mamidyarov and Alexander Grishchuk. And the top 2 players with the highest average 2017 FIDE rating who played in the World Cup or Grand Prix that we didn't already mention, the 2 Americans, Fabiano Caruana and Wesley So. Yeah. And then Vladimir Kramnik gets the organizer's wild card, so he becomes the 3rd Russian in the field. And you were telling the results. With this elite field, my goodness, there's 3 decisive results.
I know. It's very surprising, but yeah, they want to fight for it, for the honor to play against Magnus Carlsen.
One of the improvements in this World Championship cycle over the 2016 edition is there will be a playoff in the case of a tie in the double round robin. So 2 years ago, I know the fans in St. Louis definitely remember, and a lot of Americans as well, Fabiano Caruana and Sergei Karyakin were the 2 top placers, okay? And it was in the last round, and I believe they were playing each other, and Caruana had to win. If he tied, he would lose on the tiebreak system. There was no playoff. So he had to take chances that he wouldn't otherwise have taken, and hey, the players knew about it. It was the nature of the tournament. But who doesn't like to see a playoff? And I think that would be very exciting to see. So here at the Chess Club, we'll have the A-Team broadcast. I'm telling you, Maurice Ashley, Yasser Sarawan, Jen Shahadi, and more, they will be here in the studio calling the action with a 3-hour delay. So we'll be on the air at noon Central St. Louis time 3 hours after the events in Berlin get underway. And rounds 10, 11, 12, 13, and the final round, 14, will be happening starting March 22nd. And an extra day maybe for playoffs, who knows?
Yeah, I'm hoping for some exciting matches. And, 14 rounds, that's a lot. It's almost like 2 tournaments combined back to back.
22 days, I believe, is the full length of this thing. It's a huge event. But there's nothing more prestigious than being the classical world chess champion. Such a legacy. But to do that, you got to beat Magnus Carlsen. And to even get there, you got to win this grueling double round robin candidates tournament. So we'll be presenting that starting March 22nd. Let's take a very short break, and when we come back, I understand we are ready to talk to Grandmaster Viktor Bichalevsky, the Israeli competitor in this event, Group B. So we'll be right back with Viktor.
Question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's a little something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because I'm gonna do it.
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not a lot.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is question. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. Sadly, it would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
Hello, chess fans, and welcome back to the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. This is International Master Vitaly Neimer, and I'm here with Grandmaster Viktor Bichalevsky from Israel. Welcome to our show. First of all, congratulations on your win today. I know Viktor from childhood. Him and his brother Alex Michalevsky, I had a few chess lessons from him. And Viktor, you're still coaching, right? Coaching and playing chess. It's it's quite difficult, right? To coach and play chess at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. How are things in Israel? Pretty good. The sun is shining. Beautiful country.
As usual.
Yeah. Me actually, for myself, I got married about a year ago. But
congratulations.
Thank you. Me and my wife Anna, we are planning our wedding over there. in September. Nice. So yeah, so there, exciting
Maybe
stuff.
Maybe you want to invite me?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. All right. Well, now let's talk about your win today. You beat JJ Marandi with the white pieces. Yes. So let's look at the game. You start with the move C4 and the English. I assume that you had lots of time to prepare for the game.
Yeah, definitely I had some time to prepare.
Yeah, so F5, did that surprise you?
Not really. Yeah, I expected either F5 or C6.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so kind of English,
so that
English,
was part
Dutch.
of my preparation. Yeah.
Okay, so G3. So I assume that this is a pretty common idea against the Dutch or in the English to chat with this.
I can transpose to the regular Dutch with D4 if I want, but that wasn't my idea in this game.
Right. Actually, I was just mentioning, I was looking at your game and I was like, well, maybe I would play here D4, but it depends on the style, depends on your mood.
No, I just prepared D3, but he surprised me first.
Ah, okay. I was saying that this structure that you have right now almost looks like the white dragon.
In fact, it can transpose to the English. If black plays D6, E5, it's C4, E5 English.
Right. That's true.
That's what I expected.
So many openings. I mean, who is going to decide on the opening? You guys are going back and forth. Great. So he castled, and now E4. Here, when you play this move E4, I was saying that you're probably playing for a win. You gotta take your risks, right?
I play for a win every game. So.
All right. That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
D6, knight G2, and here he surprised me with C5. I expected E5 because he played he took first and then played C5.
C5, okay. So instead of E5.
Yeah, that came as a surprise for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So C5, you just castled, and knight C6.
And then I played H3.
It's a kind of a prophylactic move.
Yeah, just to cover the G4 square, and also black may have an idea of bishop E6 followed by queen D7. Just taking the diagonal.
Just to prevent this exchange with king H2.
Yep.
Nice. So bishop E6, that was played, and now you played B3.
Yeah, protecting. Queen D7, and here he expected me to play king H2, but it was possible, in fact, but I decided knight F4 is more interesting.
Yeah, also counter-attacking the bishop.
He goes back, and then it seems that I may have some problems with the long diagonal. But I just played H4, and my idea is to play bishop H3.
Right, interesting. You're not afraid of this diagonal G7?
Well, I tried to calculate, and I didn't see anything concrete for him. So
right.
He can always win in exchange. He can even take on E4. With a knight,
like even here?
Even here, but I can take back with my knight. Bishop takes A1 and knight takes C5, and it looks very strong.
Yeah, another pawn.
Yeah, and I can get to E6.
Very nice. Okay. So you played knight H5?
Yeah. He said after the game that he just wanted it to be interesting.
Well, it was.
Yeah, it was. And,
good game.
Yeah, I also like it to be interesting.
Yeah. that's why we're here in St. Louis. We like interesting stuff. E6 and knight F2 E2. So you decided, so you can't take on H5 because it takes.
If I take bishop C3, and then I just lose more than an exchange.
Yeah, this is too interesting.
Yeah, that's too interesting. Probably more interesting for him.
Okay, so knight F3
just knight E2. He plays knight D4. It's more or less forced because if he doesn't play it, I play bishop E3, and then he never gets to D4.
Right. So bishop E3, and did you have any other ideas like bishop to B2 or?
No, but I wanted to force knight takes E2.
I see. Okay. So bishop E3, knight takes E2, and now knight takes E2.
He wins an exchange, but this looks extremely dangerous for black.
Right.
I didn't have to think twice here.
Yeah, actually, when I was looking at this position, I thought that black is fine, but eventually, the game showed that this knight on H5 feels a bit awkward, and your bishops are very good.
All the dark squares are extremely weak, so I thought I have more than enough in this position.
Great positional sacrifice.
Thank you.
Rook F to E8.
Yeah, probably a little dubious, because his bishop needs to get from E8 to C6 at some point later on in the game. So
right.
Yeah. So Rook 8 doesn't help it.
So e5, nice,
Yeah.
nice move, fixes the bishop here.
Yeah,
Very
because
good.
if he manages to play e5, then it's not so easy anymore.
Right. So d5, pawn
C
takes.
takes, I think, is the simplest.
Yeah.
Yeah, forcing queen takes.
Bishop goes back to g2.
Queen d3. His trick was that if I play knight c3, he has knight takes g3.
Ah, okay, and the bishop is hanging here.
Yeah, and the bishop is hanging on e3.
Okay.
So I just protected the knight. And now I can play knight c3 because my bishop is protected.
Mm-hmm.
So bishop e8. Now he's trying to bring the bishop to c6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we see the lost tempo here on e8, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why rook e8 was probably inaccurate.
Mm. So you took the pawn here, and then you went back.
Yeah, the idea was just to prevent bishop c6.
Ah, okay.
I just don't want to let
yeah,
him
but also just
trade
like
the bishop.
grab the pawn and just like, okay, let's run away.
Yeah, I didn't care that much about the pawns, but I wanted to keep my bishop and not to let him play bishop c6.
Very nice, very nice. So rook c8.
Yeah, he's still trying to play bishop c6.
Mm-hmm.
And bishop g5, the point is to provoke the move like rook d7, then he's blocking the bishop.
You really don't like this bishop. The
But
enemy.
because his bishop is pretty bad, and if I manage to keep it on e8, then I'll
Yeah.
clearly have an advantage.
Nice. So rook d4 was played. Looks like
Yeah.
he was trying at least somehow to activate his pieces.
Yeah, now he wants to play bishop c6, so that's why knight e4. And the point is, if he plays bishop c6, I play knight takes c5, and he loses the rook on d4.
Mm-hmm.
He
Everything is
cannot-
attacked.
Yeah, he cannot keep the rook protected.
I see. Okay.
So he played the waiting move rook c7, queen c1, and now my idea is to play knight d6, and if he plays bishop c6, I can take on c5,
Okay.
because then his bishop is pinned.
I see. And that's why probably he played c4.
That's why he played c4. Yeah, he
Mhm.
still wants to play bishop c6, of course.
Mhm.
So now knight d6, and he did play bishop c6 eventually.
Finally, yes, after like 10 moves, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's with the cost of a pawn.
Yeah, yeah. So I have already 2 pawns for exchange. Yeah, knight g3 is okay. That's a practical chance in my time.
Did
trouble.
you expect that move?
Yeah, I expected knight g3.
Hmm.
And queen b2.
Queen b2.
Probably I can also take the knight, but I wasn't that sure. And I
So
decided
if
queen
take-
b2 is just simpler. Queen g3 and rook e2.
Yeah, it does look like he has some pressure here.
But I thought it should be still
takes-
winning for me. But
Takes.
yeah.
Maybe you also takes on e5, so gets messy.
Yeah, I don't need it probably. Knight b5 maybe.
Knight b5.
No, maybe no. Knight b5 probably
Yeah.
doesn't work.
So
But
it's a good decision not to.
yeah, I didn't want to complicate matters when I. Queen b2 looks like a very strong move because my threat is queen b8 check.
Yeah. You know, in this tournament, we already saw a few chess games where somebody offered a piece and people just don't take it, and then they win. It's kind of strange, right? Because in the chess, you just learn take, and here you just say no, thank you, I had enough.
Yeah, but it's not checkers, so we can take
Exactly,
later.
you don't have to, right? In checkers, you have to take. So queen b2 was played, and rook b7. Again, he offers you another piece.
Yeah, because
Like
if he
this-
doesn't do it, I just play queen b8 check and take it with a check.
Oh,
Queen b8
okay.
check, queen takes c7 check.
Right.
And that's just over and mate in a couple of moves.
So
That was his only chance. And rook g4, I also expected this idea. And now he's threatening knight e2 check after rook g4.
Mhm.
So I just I give up this pawn on f3 in order to open the second rank.
Yeah. It does look like there is a lot of pressure here on the king side. So
But it's possible to calculate here. It's not too difficult, I think.
Okay.
So f3, bishop f3. And then, in fact, his threat is not that big. I mean, he wants to play knight e2, but then I take with the rook, and he needs another tempo to create something. So I just played knight d6, creating a threat of queen b8 check. And then a checkmate in a couple of moves. So he found a nice move, king g7. I didn't see this one. But it doesn't change that much.
yeah, there's no check because of the bishop.
Yeah, that's the point, yeah.
So rook.
But
bishop
I just
f7.
took.
Wow, very, very brave, but yeah, I guess it's works.
Yeah, because if knight e2 check, king f2, and no more checks.
Yeah, and everything is hanging.
Yeah.
He just needs maybe like one more piece somewhere.
Yeah. Something is missing.
But queen
Queen
takes
f3, and then I just trade queens with queen b7.
Queen b7. That's it. Yeah, that's the winning move, right? After you trade the queens, then
Yeah,
that's
he
it.
doesn't have many chances. Yeah.
Yeah, check.
He still found a nice trick. Knight d8 was probably slightly inaccurate, but I could have done many things. But here he played king f8, and it turns out if I take the pawn, then on e6 and king e7, and my knight is in some trouble. And I also considered knight g7, and then he plays king f8. If king f7, e6 check, and he promotes. But king f8, and now if I play e6, rook c7, and I'm just losing the knight. E7 still he takes, and eventually the knight will be trapped.
That is very interesting. Take.
And I'm gonna lose here probably.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. Here actually after rook takes e7, you don't have to take.
Oh, I can play knight e6, maybe king f7, knight d8. Maybe.
That's the theme of the tournament. Do not take the pieces.
Yeah, but I don't need my knight on g7.
Exactly. Yeah. So good. Yeah, good.
The position
good choice.
is completely winning. So
yeah. So you just played king g3.
King g3. The knight will get back from b7.
King
and
b7.
Now I also have a threat of rook h1.
Yeah, I was saying I saw this position and I was saying that he was calculating and you just passed the move number 40.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking, do I really want to play another hour or should I resign because this pawn on h7 is is falling, and so just continued a few more moves.
This position is resignable, of course.
Yeah, and then
he played for a few more moves. Yeah, but
few checks, but really there's not much planned for black.
Rook c4, and that's it. Rook c7 is coming, so he resigned.
Very nice game. Congratulations. Who are you playing next?
I'm not sure. I'll have to see.
All right, this is the spirit. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna beat them. Come there, no preparation. Just
one game at a time.
Yeah. That's the spirit. Hopefully, you're enjoying your stay here in St. Louis. We have lots of great things to do.
Yeah.
Lots of good restaurants. The weather looks to be much better.
Very nice weather. Yes.
Yeah. A little bit far to fly from Israel, as I know, probably a few flights, but welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. And so thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck in the rest of your tournament. And we are going to go into a quick commercial break, and stay with us. Afterwards, we will come back.
A moment comes in chess when you need to test yourself at a different level. Chess 24 Premium offers the tools that you need to reach your maximum potential. From hundreds of interactive video lessons to becoming part of the Chess 24 community. You can analyze with friends or coach your students live. You get 24/7 coverage of chess news and events, access to premium analysis and commentary, and the chance to interact with grandmasters and other top players and coaches. Get advice from the best and even challenge them to a battle. Be the best chess player you can be. It's time to level up your game with Chess 24 Premium membership.
I'm Mike Matheny. Whether you play chess for fun or want to boost your child's academic performance, come visit the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis, right here in the chess capital of the U.S. From a welcoming, diverse environment to a scholastic outreach program, now in over 100 schools, our center, across from the World Chess Hall of Fame in the Central West End, has it all. So whether you've played for years or never before, we invite you to experience all chess has to offer.
Hello and welcome back to St. Louis for coverage of Round 5 of the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. I'm Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And we're here to wrap up the show for you.
Oh, yeah.
So we
time.
just have one game still in progress, so it's been a pretty good day. We've been able to cover everything we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
And the game still in progress is Alex Ipatov and Surya Ganguly. We do expect that to be a draw, which would in fact make all of the games in Group A a draw. And I saw there were some commenters online talking about Akobian's game with black against Yaro Zherabuk. That game was a repetition. It was a draw. That has been double-checked with the arbiter. Draw.
Yeah.
So, what are your final thoughts on the round today, Vitaly?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we had some fighting chess, but yeah, you know, they just, as we said, the players on the A group, they just the ratings are so close. They're very strong players, so we see lots of draws. But we still see some fighting chess. I mean, we never see 10-move draw. First of all, it's just illegal, but still we still see them fighting till the end. In the B group, we did see some decisive results. Lots of nice action over here. It looks like the theme of today is if they give it to you, do not take it.
Don't take the piece. No,
exactly.
Don't do it. Okay, let's take a look at the live standings for Group A. And like we said, only one game remaining, and Jeffrey Zhang still a half point above everybody else. All draws, though.
Yeah.
Looks like that last game is going to be a draw as well. And Group B, we can show the complete standings after Round 5. All games have finished. There we go.
Oh, so we do have a change on the top of the list. So Akshat Chandra is still leading, but to him we have Andrei Gorovets, who is joining him with 3.5 points. And then we have Melik Kachian and Priyadarsha Kanapal with 3 points. So it's getting more and more even, although all the rest of the players, they have 2 points. So there is some margin between the first 4 places and the last 6 places. Still a very close fight, and I'm not sure, but I think that Akshat and Andrei did not play yet. So this is going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, absolutely. The Belarusian Gorovets is one of the more quiet competitors, and here he is, just coming up the leaderboard, tied for first place now with the St. Louis and Akshat Chandra. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. Remember to join us tomorrow. The round begins at 1 p.m. Central, and we go on the air at 3:30. But it is daylight saving time. So tonight, if you have an analog clock, remember to wind that forward an hour before you go to bed, and we'll be on essentially what is, 23 hours later. So we'll be on an hour earlier, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow. This production was produced by the world's greatest B team. Ryan Chester was making sure the stream didn't drop today. Dennis LaRue was getting us interviews. Isaac Schrantz is on graphics and sound. Our technical director is Danny Machuca. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And until tomorrow at 3:30 Central Time, we say so long from the Show Me State. This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.